When do you think America will have a female president?
When there's a competent one.
Let's have a look at the MSNBC interviewing middle-aged women from Wisconsin who still won't fully cooperate with the agenda of this piece of propaganda.
How do you perceive Vice President Harris compared to President Biden in terms of competency and experience?
I think she's worse. She doesn't even know what's going on at the border.
Right.
And that's what she was supposed to be doing and in charge of. I mean, as a school teacher, if I did not do what I was supposed to be doing, you better believe my job would be in jeopardy. Well, it isn't. Not only was her job not in jeopardy, she was just handed a promotion.
Is there anyone that Kamala Harris could appoint as her vice president that you would find reassuring, would make you consider voting for her?
No.
Never consider voting for her. No.
I would do RFK Jr. way before her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And she's not the first woman to run for the presidency, Hillary Clinton. I'm assuming no one voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So it's not necessarily going to sway you to vote for a woman in office. When do you think America will have a female president?
When there's a competent one.
I don't get a good feel for her.
I think she's an idiot.
Right.
Mary, why do you think that she's not that bright?
Because she hasn't done anything in the time that she's had. We don't know anything about her as far as her 3 years so far in the White House. She's not real smart.
Well, these guys are Trump voters and they're concerned about the border. Now, I suppose the most, is it incendiary theory about illegal migration is that it's a means to import voters. I've heard people on the left say that migration ought to be controlled because it reduces the wages of lower paid indigenous workers. I've heard people out there in the conspiracy theory realm say, a lot of these migrants appear to be fighting age males. Is there a possibility that there will be a kind of a moment, a red flag moment where a signal will go up and that they will be used to create, crazy and chaotic events akin to terror? But one of the ideas that's been popular in these kind of spaces for a while is that it's about importing voters. And certainly that's what Elon Musk thinks. He says, and this is in response to an Elizabeth Warren interview, that they are importing voters. What's interesting about that is that it does, on the basis of what Elizabeth Warren says in this interview, appear to be pretty explicit. Let me know what you think.
The border, to have more resources in the states and cities that are supporting migrants, and I believe we need to create a pathway to citizenship. All of that is a part of what we need to do for comprehensive immigration reform. Kamala Harris will work with Congress and get that done.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because it does seem like a sort of an overt acknowledgement. Indeed, is that significant now that American children are no longer the primary source of new residents in America? It is, in fact, now illegal aliens. And according to this information, that doesn't include those that avoid detection. And I suppose that's obvious, because if someone's avoided detection, how could you possibly know anything about their movements or their actions? Like, again, I'm very continue to, I suppose, for a number of reasons, most of all, compassion, love thy neighbor, query, question, and be open to the motives of refugees being that they are literally seeking refuge and support. But I do also recognize that if you have a nation, it's something that has to be conserved, has to be observed. If you have borders, you have to have a border policy. And certainly on the basis of this, there is a degree of disruption that comes with mass migration. Let's have a look.
Some here are frightened now just to go outside.
Now it feels like that whole section
we're doing that, and that's what
is just not available to the community.
Asking our local elected
anymore.
So
our parks are not available to
can't go there
anymore.
Search out and give us a list of all of the empty lots that there are.
Migrants from a 4,000-bed shelter nearby fill the sidewalks. They sit on park benches, on stoops and curbs, under the BQE overpass. So many people crowded in here, residents feared what was coming.
We have been witnessing the escalation in violence on the street and in the community for months now.
We've been pleading with the mayor, as we've seen increased violence, that this was going to be inevitable.
And on Sunday night, it came. 2 people were murdered here, a third critically injured just outside one of the 2 adjacent shelters in Clinton Hill. It is a neighborhood now, pleading for help. Residents came together tonight to demand the city provide more protection for them now and move to downsize the 2 enormous and crowded migrant shelters in Clinton Hill.
There is simply no universe where you can cram 4,000 vulnerable people together safely. Do you believe us now? How many more murders will it take?
This video is responsible for the 2 Sunday night murders. In the video, he appears to be putting a gun in his waistband. The mayor today didn't offer much hope, saying police are looking at a violent Venezuelan street gang as the people behind the shootings.
They're extremely dangerous. We're dealing with violent individuals that are not representative of the overwhelming number of people who are coming here as migrant and asylum seekers.
No one has yet been arrested for those murders on Sunday night, and that definitely hasn't made anyone here feel any safer. Police say they know who they're looking for, they just haven't found him yet.
What's fascinating about that is that it's legacy media reporting in a presumed liberal city and state. Many of the people here commenting saying you get what you voted for. And isn't there often an assumption when it comes to the subject of migration that the more compassionate metropolitan or liberal take is coming from communities that it could be assumed are not directly dealing with the consequences of migration? Do you find it interesting to see voters, human beings, but voters that you might imagine would be straight up and down Democrat voters saying, you can't have these people here, it's unsafe, like dudes in hoodies and people that just on the sort of generalization and assumptions one might prejudicially make would be Democrat voters. And isn't that part of what we collectively assume, that people are able to say, yeah, there should be migration, who cares about this issue, because there's always been the idea that the migrant crisis will directly take place in communities that are not metropolitan. So that little crisis in New York is an interesting indicator of what people will feel and do feel when it is their community that is affected by it. That still leaves us with the challenge of what do you do with the challenge of global migration that might be caused by a variety of issues that Western nations participated in the creation of, whether it's war or corporatism or destabilizing regimes. But guess who didn't participate in causing those problems? Ordinary Americans, ordinary British people. How extraordinary that this is yet another story where the ordinary people of the world are pitted against one another while establishment elites find ways to evade, avoid, and even benefit from the issues that they have caused. Certainly that particular story doesn't look like lapse and open borders is a beneficial solution to the challenges America faces right now. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? Remember, like and subscribe and follow our content wherever you can. We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners. Is it me, or does the future feel more insecure and uncertain? Wars, pandemics, lies, trickery. For those of you that are in the United States, there is a way to secure your hard-earned nest egg. American Hartford Gold makes it easy to protect your savings and retirement accounts with physical gold and silver. With one phone call, they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside a qualifying retirement account like your IRA or 401k. American Hartford Gold is the highest rated firm in the United States with an A+ rating from the BBB, that's the Better Business Bureau, and thousands of satisfied clients right now. They'll give you up to $10,000 of free silver on your first qualifying order. This offer, I'm sorry to tell you, is only for customers from the United States of America. Call 866-505-8315. That's 866-505-8315. Or simply text BRAND to 998899. Then they'll know we sent you. Get up to $5,000 in silver and protect your future in this crazy, crazy world with some solid precious metals, literally made in stars. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.